Right, 2070, good luck. So we've not played before, no head-to-head score there. Play the normal Carol. 23,000 games nearly for opponent in rapid. That's a lot of rapid chess. That's a lot of rapid chess. Okay, I think d5 is still okay here. Which line does he want to play? Excuse me. Takes is alright, knight up is alright. He might have some other ideas in mind, let's just see. Pushes on, so I'm going to get my bishop outside the chain. We want to try and stop white from playing e6. So there, I'm going to take and play e6 myself. Now we just need to figure out how we're going to get castled. So he wants to launch on, so do we try and prevent that? Do we try and prevent that? I'm actually just going to play c5 and give my knight a very natural square. So I've got to figure out how to get castled. I'm kind of committed to going kingside now. And then we need to try and come up with a plan. So he's played queen back, so what's the idea with that? So pawn up kind of spends a move, doesn't it? But it's as good as anything that I'm seeing, though. I think he'll, well, I think he'll trade. He's gone back, so he wants to line up some sort of diagonal then. Okay, I'm going to develop my knight and maybe jump around somewhere. Now at least we guard the other knight as well, but he obviously wants to go back here. This will come at some point. Okay, let's get the queen up and just gently pressure the pawn. He'd probably fly forward, but he doesn't have to. But he's going to try and get his queen and bishop behind his pawn, I would expect. It'd be a little bit bold of us to try and push there, a little bit bold. A bit difficult to try and maintain that centre. So do I go this way instead? I mean, he might even go really bold with f4. But right now we're threatening b5 and take a pause. That's what he's done. Okay, I'm going to go this way, I think, then. Do we? Weakens our defense a bit, but he's going to blast on anyway, isn't he? Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the bishop on the diagonal. I don't see me quickly getting out this side. So I'm going to try and go on the diagonal and get castled. Okay, he's launched forward, so let's develop and try and castle. I mean, we can do this, and he's got a very nice natural square to go back to. So, castle now. Then do we try and do this? He's given us time after time to do it, isn't he? So, let's do it now then. Let's finally lunge forward and try and gain a bit of space. So he's come forward. So do we sack a pawn here? Take, and then bishop takes. So we've got queen up, we've got rook across, other rook across. We could go back. Excuse me. Knight up is a threat. I'm going to play knight up just to create a threat. Might even jump in here. Give up the knight and pawn to get rid of that bishop for later in the game. So he's come forward. So is there a sack here? Take. It's not on, is it? So I like the idea of just launching forward, but let's try and prepare it. Let's come across and prepare a pawn push. See if he kicks our knight back. Might do. I mean, we could go forward, like I say, give up knight and pawn, get rid of the bishop. Maybe make room for the other knight. He's gone back, so I'm going to play up and try and chance his pawn structure. So he's come forward. I'm going to take that. So how does he take? I thought he was going to go with that one. He doesn't. So we've got knight up now. The bishop can obviously drop back. And there's not much else. So here, takes, queen takes. Knight up, he just takes another pawn. So what about bishop up threatening knight up? Takes, he still covers, doesn't he? Not easy to get a plan. Knight up's a move, but after you go back. Not easy. I'm going to play knight up because I'm burning too much time. I might just push a pawn and end up dropping back. Just drop back as soon as he kicks a knight. Just burning too much time there, but we might be able to plant the pawn or get the rook forward and double up, something like that. So he has indeed gone there, so how do we progress now? Again, do we sack? If takes knight across, that's a bit bold as well. I'm going to play a rook up, preparing to double the rooks up, but I don't see any way to actually make good progress. Knight forward, so he might want us to push here. That's dangerous, dangerous. So again, knight in, takes, takes, queen takes. Now I've got knight up because knight doesn't cover. I'm going to go for it now. See if we can make some progress. Get rid of a bishop in the progress as well. So I'm just going to try and jump my knight forward here. So we'll go up, we'll hit the bishop and see where he lands, or if he guards it. So he's gone back. So now maybe I've got rook up. No concrete threat, but it's a move. So we're trying to just get forward. I mean, I guess he could block. Maybe we can come across. Maybe queen over. But we've gambled a little bit this game. We've gambled a little bit, or a big bit. So takes, takes, and I guard my knight. Otherwise, there is a threat there. Can I sack now? Takes, takes, check. Knight or queen can block, so I think he's fine. Now, I do have knight down here now to try and get rid of his other bishop. But then this pawn will be lost. So knight in, takes, takes. Either of them could take here. I'm going to play queen up, I think. Just to make sure the knight is pinned down. Then we threaten mate if he just moves away. So he has indeed gone for that trade now. Okay. Knight in is what he's wanting, isn't it? I'm going to double the rooks up. That's what he's aiming for. And if I take, it puts a lot of pressure on the king, but it might be the best I've got. But he's only a couple of moves off getting in. Might have to go in the corner. Let's see what he does. But right now, at least we can trade a rook if we need to, but we can't get the other one in then. Knight back here, actually, to hit the queen could be a move. Could be useful. Yeah, he's gone back, so he's not coming in here this move. So is he threatening to trap my rook? Possibly. I like the idea of going back and hitting the queen then. Knight check is not a move. He might concede this. So knight back. I'm trying to see if I can make a sacrifice work. I don't think I can. Knight back. I guess just queen forward. I don't like the look of that. I'm going to take the rook. I've burnt too much time and I don't see a plan. I don't see anything to actually do. I'm going to push a pawn up. I don't see any good plan, anything else to do. I mean, I can sack a bishop here, but there's just no way through it. So he's rock solid and he's got that pawn. Yeah, 7 pawns against 6 in it. We've lost a pawn earlier in the game. I don't want to go on this file, allow a development move with the rook, so I guess I'll drop back here. I mean, it maybe gives him knight across, but there's not really anything else I can do. No, I'm going to go on the dark square, maybe come across and round, something like that. Knight in might be a move. Takes, takes. I don't think I can risk doing that. I might have to... I can't move, can I? That's the idea behind this. Knight in. He hits 2 pieces. Yeah, this game's kind of gone, hasn't it? This one's just gone horribly wrong. Okay, I'm just going to move quickly and try and switch sides here at some point. I don't see it. I don't see it working, but... Unless we get some trick, like with a check and open the king up, but I don't see it happening. Yeah, rook up, no doubt to come across. So take, take, take here, it still doesn't work. I'm looking at whether I can gamble and go really forward. I guess he's still got this. Rook over isn't a move. Here it is, but then he gets a check up. Ah, check here. Let's come back. No, this game's gone, hasn't it? This game is just, there's nothing for me here. Okay, my knight, maybe I've got one square here, but he doesn't threaten anything. I don't see what I actually threatened. Oh, he's taken, and I've just blundered it, haven't I? Okay, let's go forward. Just blunder. I didn't even see that, to be honest. Yeah, I've given up on this game. Kind of given up on this one. Should I just move on and get another game done? He just played a faultless game, and he played this one tremendously well. Knight back. Yeah, he's played there. Knight back now, just to cover this square, but what else is there? Can I go here to hit the pawn? Let's hit the pawn, but what I'm actually trying to do is get the rook forward to come around the back. I don't think I'm going to get it, but it's what I'm aiming for. It's just more distraction move. And we guard the knight for one final move. Yeah, but I've got to shift that knight on. I've got to shift it, but I've kind of given up on this one. You shouldn't really do that, of course. Just play your games out if you can do. And you never know, your opponent might blunder, but played this tremendously. So I think I need knight back. It's so easy to deflect my queen, isn't it? Like knight in now, he can't do because it's double covered, but that sort of move. And my knight's gone. I'm going to have to drop the knight back and spend a move. If I can get that extra move and then come back, then I guess he can even just maybe start marching his pawns down the board. I mean, that looks like a good plan, doesn't it? As long as he doesn't blunder this sort of idea. It's some sort of unexpected checkmate threat. But like, you know, he's got down. If I come here, oh, he's dropped his knight back. So he's lining up that check again. So he's given me this. But even here now, take, bishop takes, and if I take, he takes my knight. Okay, let's get the knight out of there, break that tension. Check, I'm going to have to take if he does it. But at least my bishop's sat here doing absolutely nothing, so you might as well trade it for his active knight. So now rook up is a potential threat. We hit the pawn as well, but at least rook up is the threat. That's what I'm aiming for. Has he got a good defense? Possibly. Is he looking at knight back? Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's all he needs. Knight back, trade. He's played across. I wonder if he's not seen the concept. I think I can go here now and pressure the pawn. I'm going here just because I gently pressure two pawns. So if he moves the queen across, I've just got to find some other safe square not to trade it and try and get my rook in. Queen here guards this. That's what he's done. So he's seen the idea. I can't afford to trade the queen, so I've just got to move it to a square where it's not immediately attacked. Still try and keep pressure on. Still try and threaten rook up. And if it's the queen's caught out, the queen's caught out. But got to stay on one of these squares to guard this pawn. That is covered by my knight. That's covered by my queen. So there's only this square. Keep this covered. The bishop up might be a move. I guess you can blockade here. I say my bishop is just sat here defending, not doing really anything. So bishop up. How does he guard it? Knight in, takes, pawn takes. Bishop up, I think knight in, takes and pawn takes. There's no easy way in, is there? So what about rook across then? But then I'm giving up the chance to break in. Yeah, I'm going to play bishop up. I expect knight across. And I think I'm going to have to trade. I don't see my bishop doing anything else at all in the game. It's just a defending piece, not attacking in any way. I mean, could I really try something like this? I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. So that's the move I'm expecting. But I might be missing something, of course. He might have another good move. I'm just creating a pressure against the pawn. or trying to. Excuse me. Can he even risk just playing g3? Got really solid. That's what he's done. So can I sack here now? I've got knight across now, I think. Is knight across a move now? Threatening this. Knight here is a move. We hit the bishop and we threaten a check. That's the safer way. Knight in is a move now, isn't it? If I go here, takes and takes is the idea. But I guess you can block. So let's go here, hit the bishop, threaten a check. Again, if check, I'll probably step in the corner. But now he's closed this, I guess I want the bishop right back to f1 and try and cover this diagonal. Maybe g2, but it's whether I get time to make a move or not. Can he force me off? Oh wait, has he just blundered? Has he just blundered? Has he just blundered the game? Wow, that's why you don't give up, isn't it? I was just mentally switching off, wasn't I? I was mentally switching off and I've persisted and we've managed to swindle one. We've managed to swindle one. That is very lucky, isn't it? He's completely outplayed me. Let's see how bad it actually was. So we pause so we don't accidentally start another game. 41 moves. They're the move times for both players there. So let's see what it was in engine speak. But yeah, that's why maybe some games when you feel like you're completely busted, you just play on because you just never know. You just never know, do you? It's just simple mistake has happened somewhere, but it felt like I was completely busted. He played tremendously well. It should start populating relatively soon, as it could be a lot of people on the site using analysis at the same time. There it goes. Caro-Kann defense, other variation is what we played. So if you click on that, it'll bring some puzzles up. It wasn't as bad as I thought, was it? I thought I was completely busted for a lot of that game. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Yeah, it's my analysis a little bit wrong. 1.6 was the worst I was. It's fightable. At our level, it's fightable, and it's turned at move 37. Yeah. Well, let's take a flick through then. So what have we played? 85% versus 78% on the accuracy. I've got no blunders. Opponent's got 4 of them. But in terms of mistakes and inaccuracies, it looks like it's 12 each. So let's just take a flick through them. But it felt like I was being outplayed, but maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. This is all alright. I looked at queen up as well, just to stop the pawn push because you hit the bishop. That apparently was the move I should have played instead of pushing there. But so bishop a4 was a mistake, and here I should have been a bit more aggressive and kicked him back, but I just assumed he wanted me to do that, to go back to c2 anyway, but it was the right move to make. But we're still basically alright here. We get a little bit worse for a few moves. So I shouldn't have gone there. I should have played b5. So the engine wants me to play b5. And I should have been playing f6 here. f6 wasn't even on my radar, but that's what I should have done to chip away at this pawn structure. Always something to learn from every game that you play. And again, the knight sacrifice was on here. Again, I looked at it, didn't I? But I didn't think I got anywhere with it. Ah, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. If you block, we take the pawn. If you move the king either square, there's knight in and we win an exchange as well. Not taking the time to calculate that out. So that was a pawn. Not taking the right time to calculate it out. And then I've sacked a pawn, gone for development, and I'm actually better for a few moves. It's now back to level. Then we just go a little bit wrong here. Yeah, we should have dropped the knight back instead of trading the rook. We're still level. We just go wrong for a few moves here. Now h4 was the right move to pin the pawn down. So this is where we've gone very slightly wrong because we've lost another pawn. And if I lose my knight here, I gain a rook. I'd seen that. He moved his rook. I've guarded my knight, hit the pawn. But what I'm trying to do is get the rook in and come across. That's what I'm aiming for. And I should have actually played that there. I should have played the rook up immediately. I should have played the rook up immediately there instead of dropping the knight back. But it's still virtually level. It's still practically level. And that's about the worst I've been again in it. 1.3. It wasn't actually as bad as I thought. My assessment was a little bit wrong. And that's a losing blunder. So bishop up was a good move. And knight in's a good move. It's -4. And he's got bishop back there. So bishop to d1. Then bring the rook in. He's got a knight check. We step up. And then he brings queen across and we just win the bishop. So take the bishop. The rook comes across. But obviously we're very much on the offensive now. We can push the pawn, trying to chip away at this structure. So pawn forward. Queen. A slow, steady move. You've got to see a move like that, which I probably wouldn't have seen. Threatening to trap our bishop here. Yeah, why is that not a move next? I don't see the concrete threat that I've got. Engine says drop the knight back. And then king back. So I don't know why that wasn't the case there, but that's what should have happened. So we got a little bit of luck, or a big bit of luck, and we managed to get a good win. So very good.